Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you may be on planet Earth. And welcome to the May 2023, and in fact, the inaugural edition of Let's Get SASE. This is your podcast source for all things SASE from your friends at Cisco. I'm John, and I will be your host and chief SASE prognosticator for this episode. We've got a great topic for you today. Myths around SASE. Debunking myths around the SASE revolution. What we're going to do is go deep on some of the things you might be hearing from vendors selling their SASE offerings. Then give you the skinny on what's true and what's noise. So buckle up. But first, the news. Welcome to our shiny new news segment. We're so proud. In noteworthy news this week, Cisco's announced the intent to acquire Lightspin. So what's Lightspin? No, it's not a playground ride. Instead, it's a cloud-native security suite, which includes cloud security posture management and other application-centric cloud security offerings. It really bulks up Cisco's cloud-native security offerings. Let's see. Last week at RSA in San Francisco, Cisco announced Cisco XDR. So this new solution is cloud-native and includes functionality that also vaults us to the top in the XDR space. Along with an already bulletproof endpoint, network and cloud security offerings, this offering gives enterprises a unique visibility into threats and the capability to stop them in their tracks. This should be a really exciting addition to our security portfolio. Coming up is Cisco Live, June 4th to 6th. You can still get tickets or you can attend virtually. There will be lots of exciting announcements, presentations, and lots of other keynotes and such. The info can be found at ciscolive.com, and you still have time to get there, so get your tickets. In every episode of Let's Get SASE, we also intend to deliver some pertinent security news to you. This is powered by our Cisco Talos threat advisory and incident response team. So in this week's Talos Spotlight, we have a threat advisory, which you can read more about, which is a distinct uptick in the number of state-sponsored campaigns targeting global network infrastructure. These are state-sponsored bad actors. You can use your imagination who these folks might be, trying to break in and steal your stuff, basically. Defense, financial, any kind of intellectual property. So beware and keep your eye on the Cisco Talos website for more information. Links to all of these things can be found in the description if you want to check these out more. And that is the end of the news. So today's topic is actually really cool. Myths around SASE. I actually think this is so cool because of the origins of the word SASE itself, which for those out there who don't know, stands for Secure Access Service Edge. This term was coined in 2019 by Gartner as a way to create a framework around a bunch of technologies that are converging in the evolution of modern network architectures. So let's get to the main event, myths about SASE. Today I have joining me my SASE technical expert, Alvin Richburg.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Alvin. Thanks for being here today. Word on the street is that you've been running into a lot of customers who are interested in moving into a SASE architecture, but are getting a lot of conflicting information or noise from various vendors.
Yeah, man. We, as a solutions architect for the SASE team, I run into a lot of customer environments on the daily. And we're talking to them about the SASE implementations, adoption of the current SASE technologies that they already own, how they can further those investments. And then, honestly, we run into like a lot of hiccups along the way just because they're buying into a lot of myths from, a lot of these other vendors that are, just out here saying things about products that don't really match the technologies in which that they're trying to represent. So we have a flood of SASE offerings in the market, and it's often confuses customers. And I mean, to be honest, it confuses me. I'll hear something like, someone will have a big event or a big splashy announcement. You'll read into the technology and you'll be like, I mean, didn't we deploy that in like 2012, 2013? What are we even saying here? It makes no sense. But I mean, to be honest, there's just a lot of noise, a lot of pollution in the market, and that's causing a lot of confusion for us all. For us all.
Yeah, I like the description of noise pollution. That's the way it feels looking in from the outside. Because when we look in, we actually discover that SASE is made up of technologies that we already had or we were already using as point products, right? And SASE is just a really nice way to reference them as a framework to describe the convergence. And like you said, every vendor's come up with their own interpretation of how they fit into or sell into a space that suddenly, in my opinion, feels like buzzword bingo. This is really just confusing customers to make a sale. So let's get to it. Let's get into debunking some of the myths that exist in the realm of SASE. I like to refer to this practice as fling and FUD, or fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So let's get into it. All right, so on to myth number 1. There's no benefit to SD-WAN and SSE together. According to Gartner, the two main categories of SASE are SD-WAN, otherwise known as software-defined WAN, and SSE, or Security Service Edge. So what's the point of lumping them together? So I think I should start by explaining what SASE and SSE are. So actually, check this out. I've got a really good diagram that shows this. If you look at this, the left side is SD-WAN, that group of technologies in the left-hand box, which is very network-centric, which is something Cisco's been good at for a long time. And then the box on the right-hand side is SSE, which is very security-centric, which is something Cisco has become really good at organically and through acquisition. And if you double-click and dig into some of those sections, you'll see we've got an SD-WAN fabric. We've got some enhanced capabilities, but we've got the SD-WAN analytics, which includes our Thousand Eyes product. And then we've got, on the right-hand side in the SSE bubble, we've got a Cloud Access Security Broker, or CASB. We've got Zero Trust Network Access, which is VPN-less network access. And then we've got our Firewall as a Service product and our Secure Web Gateway offerings. So if you think about these two technology groupings, seems like there is some value to putting them together. Right offhand, it feels like this myth is going to be easy to debunk. Alvin, what say you?
Well, you got that right. It's certainly going to be an easy one. And I guess I'll start off with saying that was a great explanation of the two frameworks. The two key components of this framework is a better way to phrase that. So I guess I'll jump right into it. Firstly, it's not SASE if it's not SSE and SD-WAN working together. If they're not securing traffic and route to applications utilizing those two components, then they're not selling SASE. And anyone who says otherwise,
yeah, no, just quick shameless plug there. Cisco can help you with this, by the way. Alvin, you are, after all, a SASE TSA in title, so.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But seriously, the solution brings so many benefits to our customers, and really quickly. And the time to value is extremely high. SD-WAN is a very mature product in the market, and it's a very highly adopted by our customers and some of our competitors' solutions as well. So if you take that SD-WAN component and you connect it to an SSE, the branch-to-branch traffic or branch-to-cloud traffic is going to be increased in value because you'll be able to inspect and see and have good visibility into that traffic much quicker. You'd start to see that
gotcha.
Value.
But so that's great. But what about customers with only SSE?
John, I thought we were on the same team, man. Come on. Anyway, there are scenarios where you don't necessarily need SD-WAN, and you might just need SSE. And for those who don't necessarily need it, SSE is a perfectly viable solution, but that does not negate the benefits from pairing the two in tandem. So SSE gives you the ability to secure your workers wherever, however they're trying to reach their applications. And while a little bit rambly of an explanation, if you integrate SD-WAN and SSE, it doesn't matter if a user's sitting at home, a beach in Bermuda, or at their desk because they dipped out of employee all hands, they'll be able to reach those they'll be able to reach those applications securely, no matter where they are. If it's SaaS, if it's public, if it's private, who cares? It's users to applications. That's what we're trying to do here. And if they're not selling that, then I mean, it ain't SASE. But it's not just about the end users, to be honest. I don't sell to the end users. I sell to administrators of those networks and people who are responsible for those networks. And they see value too. They get greater visibility into user behavior. They have a greater reassurance that they're not the reason for these application performance problems, because often, at least when you implement our SASE solutions, they see increases in application performance, not degradations. So, John, I'd honestly say this myth was busted before we even got started when Gartner wrote the framework. But I mean, the market is what the market is.
I got you.
This myth is busted.
That's awesome. I'd say there's two morals to this story. A, you can use SASE to duck out of an all hands, and B, these things totally add value together. So on to myth number 2. You've got to buy networking from a networking company and security from a security company. So we all know that Cisco got its start in IP routing and expanded from there. We are the de facto leader in the networking space. So it's easy to understand why customers think this and competitors fling FUD around this. Alvin, what do you think? And more importantly, what do your customers think of this? Do you look at Cisco as a major player in security?
A 3-parter. Thanks, John. Really making me work on my day off. Anyway, I guess I'll start with yes, yes, and yes. Cisco secures users. We secure workstations, servers, networks, even cloud workloads. So the idea that we're not a security company, it's actually laughable. And right now, we're securing over 80% of the internet's traffic in various forms. And we're using that data to inform our other solutions. So not only if you buy one of our security products, are you helping us secure the world, but you're also seeing that we can provide the best and great security on multiple sectors. We have the largest private intelligence research firm that's not operated by a state government, and we're the leader in most of the markets that we're in. So I'm trying to figure out how we aren't a security company, but I'm going to step off my soapbox because this is a conversation about SASE.
Yeah, you might fall. Be careful.
All right, so back to the myth. Is it better to buy security from a security company and network from a network company? I'd say, yeah, maybe 10, 15 years ago, before I was operating in this space, sure, go for it. You can buy what you want from the point place products, and none of it actually mattered. But the landscape has changed. Major vendors are responding to what we're seeing from customers, and they're shrinking their operations teams. They're merging their security and their network teams. And the big players in the market are selling all sorts of solutions, and the small ones are just using old information to try to gain ground. But that doesn't help our customers meet their business goals, because at the end of the day, that's what we're selling. We're not trying to put a box in your network or plug you into a specific cloud. We want you to meet your business goals. So customers need solutions that provide an ease of use and also strong integrations. Single product vendors cannot guarantee you that. They don't intend to, but a salesperson who they hired on at their small startup may just say that, but that is not the goal of those solutions. And they don't plan to help you integrate with anything you have today or what you'll have tomorrow. They can't be the answer. I think this myth is busted because it not only considers the perspective of the vendor selling the single capabilities solutions and not the needs of the customer. This leads to vendors rebranding old tools and producing buzzwords to sell the same stuff that they've been selling in hopes to continue. So while there's some situations where this might work out for them, I'm not certain that that's how it really works. The negatives of this are endless. Project times extend, that costs more money. Service contracts grow, that costs more money. Turnover on teams costs more money. On and on and on.
So you said a lot there. So are you saying that this myth is not totally busted?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Sometimes you just really need a good firewall, and there are a lot of security vendors that can sell you that firewall. But if you have a security vendor that sold you a great on-prem firewall yesterday, then today they decide to try to sell you SD-WAN. But oh wait, now they want to sell you SSE, or they want you to partner with this SAC vendor that happens to be paying them a lot on the back end, you might be better off just buying point products or finding a very well-backed single vendor SASE solution. But in most cases, trusting the highly rated integrated SASE solutions is going to give you the best experience. Yeah, if there's a vendor out there, we got to cut this, but you can finish it.
So if there's a vendor out there selling, say, CASB one day, and suddenly they have a SASE product, caveat emptor, I'm just saying. What you said about modern day Cisco busts a lot of that. As you said, we were a network company, and now we do it all. All right, last but not least, myth number 3. Best of breed is always best. So, lots of vendors out there in the world of SASE claim to be or are viewed as best of breed for whatever reason. Reputation, advertising, general anecdotal evidence, something they heard somewhere, whatever. So check this out. Let me put up this picture I found. This depicts a few of the, quote, best of breed security solutions. Okay, I'll give you a second to absorb that. This should give you an idea of the scale of the problem of best of breed. So, lots of point products can be best of breed, but in general, they are not designed to interoperate, only best of breed for a moment in time. They have many, many different interfaces, making management a nightmare, and they just generally represent application sprawl. Alvin, what do you think about all that?
So, well, firstly, that chart, that's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll start off by saying I think the main thing to remember when talking about best of breed solutioning for your environment is that we've already tried that. We tried that period after period of technology, from on-prem hardware to virtualized to cloud. Nothing has made it easier using these best of breed solutions in not Ansible, not Python, not APIs. Customers are struggling to deal with these best of breed solutioning, and people are leaving their organizations because they're buying solutions that make it really hard to do your job. And this was only exacerbated by the pandemic. In 2020, every CIO and CISO had to develop a work from home strategy. And all of us vendors had to work together during the pandemic to help customers who were having a hard time integrating these solutions from competing vendors. And you know why? It's because it doesn't benefit either vendor to work together. That's why companies are buying similar features to try and service what we call single vendor SASE. I mentioned it in the last myth. These single vendor solutions provide peace of mind when you're going to integrate and improve on those features the customers benefit. But if you're operating from best of breed, that you operate in sort of a V formation where as you may start together, but over time you grow apart, and then eventually someone replaces the other. And that just doesn't help the customers. So my last point was long, so I'm gonna keep this pretty short. Customers benefit when single vendors produce strong products in the sectors they play in. And they also benefit from these solutions working really well together, providing more value than just a check in the box on a security or network audit. Businesses benefit when we make our products great here at Cisco. I think that as you see more companies try to integrate these solutions, you'll see that this myth is only relevant to companies that fail to put in the proper investment and necessary training for their organizations to serve their customers. That's
Gotcha.
it.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I think that's a shot across the bow to anyone who's trying to go out there and do a lot of point products instead of single vendor SASE. Thanks for that. So I think that's about as much time as we have today. I wanted to thank Alvin Richburg for coming today and sharing his thoughts with us and helping us debunk some of these common myths. If you have any questions about anything we've covered here or want additional information, reach out to your local Cisco account team and they can get the right SASE resource involved in your project. Your local account team is fully equipped to guide you through the woods of SASE network transformation. This is what they do. Thanks again for joining us for Let's Get SASE. We'll catch you next time.